Hello everyone. Hope everybody is doing good and staying safe. Welcome to first ever WASP Zap user conference, ZapCon 2021. I'd like to thank first of all entire ZapCon team and StackOff team for providing me this opportunity. So I'll be talking about today on the security automation with WASP Zap. So that is the session title I have for today. Okay, let's get started. So quick introduction about me. Myself Gautam Sundar. I work as a senior security engineer at Freshworks. I'm a SAP evangelist. So I'm the author of the Bug Hunter Handbook. I'm very much interested in cloud security and container security, and I'm an active learner. So I will always keep learning things, new stuffs, and pretty much things like that. You can always try to contact me via LinkedIn, Twitter, and I also have a blog mentioned here. So in case of any questions related to the sessions or any other Q&A related to Zap, you can feel free to contact me at any of the links here. Let's move on. So that is pretty much about me. Okay. Today's session is about, we will talk about Zap introduction. I don't think Zap requires any introduction. I think pretty much everybody knows about it. And we also talk about web applications automation using Zip. What are the various options that Zap provides for application security automation? And today I'll be talking about two problems, or I'll say challenges that we faced internally at our organization, and how Zap help in solving those. Basically, about Zap and Jenkins integration and how we used Zest scripts as part of solving those challenges. So that's a key focus. I want to share the story of Zap, the Zap conference. That is the main idea of presenting the session here. So, and we'll also see quick demos on how we did and all those stuff, and we'll conclude with resource and references as well. All right, moving on. Okay, so what is WASP Zap? As you all know, it's a widely used web application scanner. It's a WASP flagship product. It's free and open source. That's one of the key highlights. It's well maintained comparing to all other open source softwares. I think if I pretty much feel that Zap is one of the well maintained. Whenever you have any queries related to Zap, there is always Zap team to help. It is highly flexible. You will see in the next upcoming slide that what I mean by highly flexible. And also Zap is like under there is a new automation framework that is being developed, so I'm pretty much excited for that too. Okay, so security automation with Zap in the modern day DevOps, DevSecOps technology, automation is the key that every organization is looking for, right? So Zap also support security automation with you can do a lot of automation stuff with Zap. It really supports them. If you have time, please check out the blog post by Simon. It's Zap World, most popular web scanner. He has written some all the statistics data, how Zap is widely used across countries, on how people are trying to adopting into all this. So you can see pretty much see the glove, the Infinity War glove. So it doesn't mean that there are various options that Zap provides. It means that it has a lot of power in that. So you have command line options, you have Jenkins plugin, you have package scans, GitHub Actions, daemon and API. So it is basically like providing you everything for whatever you need or whatever your requirement is, right? So that's what I will say. Zap is more flexible. And today we'll be talking about Jenkins plugin. That is the core idea of this session. Moving on. Okay. Uh, Here you can see in the right hand side, you can see a small picture that I have made basically highlighted the power of Zap. So we also have a lot of commercial tools, RASP and other solutions where they're providing a lot of this feature, latest feature that supports a lot of requirements. But fortunately, we have Zap that is more suitable. So that's the on a lighter note it is. So I'll talk about the problem here. So we were using internally at an organization using a commercial dash tool, which had a basically the scan duration was high, meaning that we have a lot of products and in-house applications, products and platform services. A lot of services are there. So we wanted to scan those vulnerabilities, scan those applications before they are deployed to production, right? So we wanted to ensure that they are scanned for vulnerabilities. We have identified and fixed all the high or critical vulnerabilities before they are released to production. So we wanted to use some kind of strong security tool so that it will identify a lot of vulnerabilities. So we felt that the scan duration was very high. It was not suitable for continuous integration, meaning that our engineers had to trigger the scan manually every time they want to scan their application URLs. It was also not flexible, meaning that it doesn't provide a lot of customization options. It doesn't also have a concurrent scan option, meaning that at a time you can only two scans, so that other engineers have to wait for the scans to complete, which was obviously taking a lot of days. So we also had the that commercial dash tool centralized dashboard, which had credentials, which was need to be shared in order to log in and do the scanning. So this is a quick highlight of the problem. Okay, the solution, the Zap way. So there came the magic, I'll say, the Zap and Jenkins integration plugin. After a lot of research and reference, we found that the Zap Jenkins plugin was available. We were able. The key highlight was this was completely automated. You can automate the scanning. It is highly flexible and configurable as well. Yeah, right. Okay. The demo time. I'll quickly show the demo on how. I'll short demo on how basically this works. Okay, moving on. Okay, I have prerequisites. Jenkins is already installed. So the prerequisite you should have Jenkins installed on your system. And the first step is to install two of the plugins. It is available here, the Jenkins plugins manager. I have already installed here, so I just show you in the interest of time. I'll just show you what are the two plugins. Here's the official Zap plugin. It's on you have to install. Other thing is like custom tools plugin. This will support. This will help to install Zap in the first place. Right? In the system, you need to install Zap. Right? So I have the two things installed here. Let's go back to the Jenkins dashboard and configure let's try to configure the project now. I have created a name called Security Automation Zap. Here, what we can do is like we need to execute Zap. So I provide the option as localhost and override the port as 9090, meaning that if you're running any other service on the particular port, you can override here. And the next step is to choose custom tool installation. If you have Zap installed already via various options, you can choose this option and you need to set the environment variable Zap proxy home. That is possible via, I'll show you how that is possible. I'll just duplicate this, go to the dashboard, manage Jenkins, you will find configure system, and the configure system, you will find environmental variables. You can add it, give the Zap proxy home and the value. In general, by default, the value should be like /opt directory under the Zap will be the value. But since I have installed it via the custom tool plugin, I will go back here, select Zap itself. And the Zap home directory is always should be the default one. It's varlib.jenkins.zap. If you want, you can change it as per your needs. This is related to session management. We'll have the session as the session and underscore the build ID. That is one thing. And build ID is that by default Jenkins provides the dynamic value so that for every build, for example, first build you will find session underscore 1. For the next build, you will find session underscore 2. The context is the same. This refers to seeing that, okay, whichever site you want to include. Let's say I want to scan only a particular page, you can provide it here. So Zap only scan that page. So for now, I'll do start so that I'll scan all the pages. The context also I will use the same default context. I am excluding the context sign off, not to hit the sign off page so that the application doesn't log off. The alert filters they will plan. And here you will find the authentication piece. So if you want to do authenticated scan, you can do it here. So the default username and password I have provided here. So this shows the logged in and logout indicator. What it means. So Zap tries to suppose the application got logged out. It tries to auto login using your logged in and logout indicator. You can fetch it using here. For example, go to the demo site. For example, I'm logged out. I can see a sign in button. If I log in, I will find a sign off option. So that's what I have mentioned here. So logged in is sign off, logout is sign in. /q song of the literal and / is it's look for the particular literal regex pattern match. So I'm use the form based authentication. So basically we'll start the login URL with the login.jsp. The username parameter and the password parameter, you can find it here. If you go to the source of the login page, the username is a UID and the password field ID is path. So I have provided the same here. So no post data is required. Yeah, so the starting point is also, we'll start with the login page, and I will try to perform the spider scan. Okay, not to recurse it because it may take some time. So you can choose the default policy here, not to recurse in the interest of time. Let us, okay, the final part is like you can also generate reports using ZAP vulnerability report. You can name it whatever you as per your need. I'm also providing the build ID here. So the format is HTML. This error is ignored. This can be like, this is like error with the plugin itself, not to worry about this. So if you want to export or create Jira issues, you can use this option. Or if you want to do any post build action, you can also perform. So that's what I told, a lot of configurable, right? So I'll try to click apply and save it. So it should work now. Let's build it. All right. So you can see now that, it started the scan, right? The spider scan status is 0. It's trying to authenticate the user admin. There you can see that, we have the user admin is now enabled. So whenever, it's try to log out or any error, you try to re-log in and find it. Okay, cool. So meanwhile, the scan is getting processed. Let's go back to the slide and see what is the next one. Okay, results. So here we saw, it is completely automated. So all you need to do is just configure at one time. It will automatically, you can use Jenkins automated build triggers to as part of your pipeline script, so that, it is automatically scanned. The scan time is also relatively quick. It is not going to take, days and days, because, it really saves a lot of time. Engineers don't need to wait for, this thing to complete, the security testing or the security scanning part to be complete, to move to the next step. The centralized control, meaning that the pipeline can be maintained with security team or, centralized team, so that they have control of what is happening. And we also have customized scans, like I told, right? So you want to scan which part of the application to scan, which part to ignore. For example, there may be a deployment where only changes are made only to a particular page. So in that case, you don't need to scan the entire application, which might take a lot of time, right? So that's the concept. Right, let's go back to see. Yeah, the spider scan status is also taking some time. You can see, always see that alert count is now raised to 280. See, it's every time it's authenticated the user, right? So we are very sure that, it's performing the scan as authenticated, because most of the time authenticated scans are very useful. It provides a wider coverage than the unauthenticated scans, because in order to, if you want to uncover a lot of vulnerabilities, you need to do an authenticated scan. 98%. Yeah, it's now completed. You can see that all the payloads like command injection, like, code injection, all the scripts are getting executed. Okay, the active scan is almost 82% now. We have alert count as 411 and the message count as 323. This is very, very, really helpful if you want to integrate ZAP as part of your continuous integration, or, the security automation, where in turn you will be quickly able to identify the, I won't say low hanging fruits, but relatively, high or critical issues as well. We were able to identify a lot of issues using this way. Yep, I think scan has completed now. All right, now we have the report is generated. Cool. Let's quickly go and check the report. You can go to workspace, report here. You see, okay, I have made a mistake with the build ID. Pardon me for that. All right, you can see all the vulnerabilities here. There you go. The power of SAP. Cool. All right. So you can see medium issues, low, and the information and all the stuff, right? Excellent. Cool. Okay. Let me move on. This is a video reference I have saying. If you want to take a look at later point of time, you can use this. Okay. Next problem. Here comes the next problem. So we did a normal form-based authentication, right? So after months of time, our internal services team came with custom SSO, where the form-based authentication was not working. So we need to come up with a new solution that handles the custom SSO, meaning that it requires a dynamic callback code for authentication, which is again a pain for us. We were settled using the, there was a one problem that we solved and we felt okay, now we are all good. Then again came another challenge that, okay, so let's see how we handle this as well. Again, the Zap way. I'll say the Zap first way or the easiest way. So basically, Zest scripts. So this came as really, I'll say, very useful thing that we really identified. So what is Zest? Zest is experimental scripting language developed by Mozilla. It's free and open source again. It's included in Zap by default. Ignore me for that spelling mistake. It's JSON based. It's useful for creating custom scripts. You can use multiple features, meaning that there are assignment option, assertion, meaning that you want to, let's say you have a recorded step. You want to see whether the response code matches, or you want to add any other conditions. A lot of steps are there. Other thing is like there is Zap doesn't only support JavaScript, it also support JavaScript, Groovy, Python, Ruby. So whichever language you are comfortable with, you can go ahead and write custom script on based on your needs. Right. This is the console overview, basically from the Zap GUI. Here you see the Zest recorder. You can use this to record the steps like this. I have recorded a sample demo of Juice Shop. This is the post and the get request here. When you replay it, you will find the results here. So it is like basically trying to replay whatever has been recorded. So this is the GUI of how the Zest console works. Okay, again demo time. Consider an application that requires a dynamic token during login, and I will show you steps how to fetch the token for every time login for a successful login, and how we handle the similar situation or the custom SSO similar to this, right? Okay, moving on. Let's have it. I'll show. Okay, so I've already configured Zap here. So Zap is already installed. Let me delete the other unnecessary requests here. Here you have demoapp.com. I have configured a demo application. Demo application looks something like this. I have configured to proxy it with Zap. Okay. So you also have, I'll try to see and show you how to log in here and how that works. This is a damn vulnerable application that we basically use for application practice. Okay. There you go. This is how this looks. I'll try to log out here. Right. Now I'm going to record these steps. So I'll select the Zest recorded here. What is the title? Zap Zest test. Okay. The type is going to be authentication. Consider this we are going to use for authentication. So I'll choose demo.app.com. Okay. Dot recording. I'll go here and try to make sure this is the first page. Admin and provide the password and login, and just click and single page so that go back here, stop the recording. You will find here all the steps are recorded. Okay, this is just an, we can remove whichever request we don't need to be part of this script. Okay, so we have the login and we have the post request wherein the credentials are submitted. So you can see the assertion, right? I told what is the status code that what is the response. You can, if you want, you can delete it. Okay, before that, I need to show you what is a dynamic token here, right? So, click log out and view the page source. You will find the token here, right? The user token is some values provided. So every time you log in, you need to log in or you need to provide this token. Otherwise, your login will be failed. For example, I will record the script here. I'll try to replay this. I'll do click run. You can see the assertion got failed because the token again was new. So we were not able to hit the index and the security.php. So what I will do is in the get request, I'll try to use just assignment and assign a variable. Okay, the variable name is user token. And what is the field? User underscore token, because that's the one we found it here. The value is user underscore token, right? And save it. Now we need to pass this to the post request. So I'll double click it. Here you can see the user token is static, meaning that it's not dynamic. So what we need to use the JSON format user. What is the name we gave? Token. All right. save it. Now let's see what happens if I run. See now, we got 200 OK. Also we have it security page. The request, the response is 200 OK, and the login page. Very simple, but very powerful. This is a very simple thing, but you can do a lot of automation stuff with here. You can do, if you want to, add a condition here, or what your client launch a browser, or add a loop. There are a lot of options provided by this. It's very powerful. You can do a lot of stuff, and this way we were able to handle the customers also, which the engineers were really happy, and we are also very happy with the way that worked, right? So this is what I want to show you for you today. Okay. So whatever I showed, the same has been mentioned in my next slide. So the script, I told you modifying the user token, and what are the steps that are successful. Results, we were able to perform authenticate scan. This is the same reaction we found. I know we were the same time work. We also had validation with just association. We were able to see what is the status custom, because it involves a lot of callback code. We want to, if you know that, right? In SSO there are a lot of steps involved, so we want to asset each step with a response code out of it. And with authenticated scans, I told you it's a wider coverage, and you will find more findings as well. You are able to uncover critical, high, and a lot of vulnerabilities. Cool. The same as provided as a video reference if you want to take a look at later point of time. Okay, so we have almost come to the end of the session. So these are the resources and reference I would like to share with you. If you want to look at what is the reference I used here, you want to check these videos. I think the Zappist 10 is one of the awesome videos from Simon explaining each and features of Zap. It's really helpful for everyone. I suggest to take a look at it. And also we have great documentation about Zap. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you. I'd like to thank the Zap team and the StackOff team for providing this opportunity. I'd like to thank Rebecca for accepting the talk and helping me out. It's really, I'm very happy for this. Thank you very much.